Well, good morning. It's still morning, barely, I think. I'm Barbara Snyder, president of Case Western Reserve, and I want to thank you for coming to our campus this week for such an important series of conversation. I hope you found the past day and a half constructive and productive, and that this afternoon's sessions are also compelling. I don't need to tell anybody in this room that discussions about the future of libraries and collections are nearly as ubiquitous as libraries themselves. When Arnold joined us in 2010, he began an intensive strategic planning process. One of the primary questions he addressed was how to best adapt the programs and services of the Kelvin Smith Library to the evolving needs of our faculty and our students in the digital age. In that instance, the resulting plan focused on the library increasing its role as the center of the intellectual community on our campus. Entering undergraduates, for example, are assigned personal librarians who in turn help teach and guide and mentor them in all the extraordinary ways the library can help them do their work, and also discover realms of information and insight they might never have known existed if they didn't have that relationship with the personal librarian. And we think that that's an incredibly important part of our intellectual community at Case Western Reserve. More recently, we have begun thinking about libraries and librarians in a new way as we plan for the new health education campus that we're doing jointly with Cleveland Clinic. As faculty in our health sciences schools debated about how best to incorporate library services into this new state-of-the-art structure, they ultimately decided to try a model that distributed librarians throughout the building. Rather than creating just a space called the library where users would converge, they decided to experiment by placing librarians and the technologies they use to serve the people who come to see them, faculty and staff, in multiple locations throughout this building. In this way, the librarians and their services will not only be more accessible, but more fully integrated with the intellectual life of the school. So the idea is that some exciting projects can emerge simply because a librarian is right there when an idea comes up. And nobody has to seek that person out, the librarian's sitting right there. Now, I should emphasize that this is an experiment. We are trying something that we have not tried before, and we're going to see how it works. We may be overestimating the value provided in the field and underestimating the librarian's loss of that sense of connection with their peers. But we are not closing the health sciences library on our campus, just to be clear. We are, though, choosing not to try to duplicate it in a new location. In other words, I think the way to sum it up is to say, stay tuned. Just as the health education campus involves a part of the overall question that libraries face today, so too does the subject of your gathering, special collections. In an era of increasing digitization and open access, how should college and university libraries, other research institutions approach this element of their mission? How do you strike the right balance between the broad distribution that technology enables and the unique aspects of these items that simply cannot be adequately captured by a virtual experience? We think about that too because we have a great partnership with the Cleveland Museum of Art. You might say that is a huge special collection. And as we speak, they are thinking about how to share the glories of the objects that they own with people all over the world who can't necessarily get to the museum. And we are thinking about that with them because last year we announced that we raised together a $15 million gift jointly to create the Nancy and Joseph Keithley Institute for Art History that will be situated both at Case Western Reserve and the Cleveland Museum of Art. One of the things that that program will support is a dramatically reimagined joint doctoral program, one that has as its emphasis an object-oriented approach. As the chair of our art history department explained at the time we made the announcement, each work of art is an idiosyncratic, fascinating object in its own right. Each has its own life history, which is why it's important to learn from and and understand the specific object. I know that many of you here engage with disciplines across your campus to understand more about these issues and how libraries help scholars explore. Each field has its own perspectives and approaches. For example, the idea of embedding the librarians around the building would never work at our law school. And we're not suggesting that, but a different set of faculty members proposed it, and we're going to give it a shot here. But as you think about how to get special collections out into the world where other people can appreciate them, how to get the knowledge that can be derived from them available to more people, it's a real challenge in the digital age. We see many of the challenges in the digital age all over the university, and we've had our own little examples of challenges. In addition to the sort of people who come after our systems, we just recently had a certain kind of phishing, and I don't mean the phishing with the bait and the hook. I mean the PH kind. This summer we had an intense education in that kind of phishing. Online scam artists developed a faux version of our payroll website. Yeah, scary. And used email lures to get some of our employees to go on the site and reveal personal financial information. Needless to say, they diverted a paycheck from direct deposit into the employee's account to direct deposit to their own account. We developed a creative blocking mechanism to keep those tempting emails from reaching the people they were trying to reach. But guess what? The phishers developed a workaround. So our IT experts developed another response, a system to provide users an immediate email alert whenever their financial information was updated. So if you didn't intend to make a change, you knew about it. And the phishers figured out a way to block the modifications. So we're now in version 3 of how to deal with these people and technology. And it's working so far, but it's a challenge every day. So when you think about making special collections available in certain digital ways, you have to deal with all the challenges that the digital world provides for all of us. You are, in some ways, siblings of our IT warriors here, but the constant creativity that you're expected to demonstrate is not about stopping people from getting in, but actually about finding new and thoughtful ways to get the work out to people, to advance opportunities, the way you extend the reach and the impact of the collections in your libraries. Now, however you choose to do that, I am pretty confident that you are going to inspire some people, challenge other people, and perhaps maybe even make a few people unhappy, because almost anything we do does that. But I will tell you that if whatever you decide about getting the collections out to people causes a reaction, good and bad, and I'm sure it will be both, it means that people out there care about the collections that you're talking about. And it means they're engaging in this critical debate, which I think is so important for all of us. We have to think about how to take the best elements of the digital age and use them in a way that makes sense, and also preserve what is so important about special collections in the first place. So these are really challenging questions, and I congratulate all of you for seeking to grapple with them, for your vision in recognizing their significance for scholarly work going forward, and for recognizing the importance of accessibility to them. So I hope you keep the conversation going long after you leave the Kelvin Smith Library and Case Western Reserve in Cleveland, and that your experiences help you think in broader and more nuanced ways about the choices you make within your own libraries. Your efforts center on some of the most meaningful elements of our work as institutions of higher education. You are guardians, you are advocates, and candid critics for what we do. And I hope that you will continue to fulfill those roles with wisdom and foresight, and I look forward to learning more about your individual and collective initiatives in the coming weeks and months. Thank you very much.